The cars that reflect my direct involvement, you'd begin with the first BMW 3 Series. When I got to BMW, I have to tell you, it was the beginning of an in-house design department. And they had a wretched design going for what was to be the next 2002. And I worked with the designers who hadn't been listened to because engineering was in charge. They had their own ideas of what the car should look like. And working with design and working with engineering, we finally got a car that was the very first BMW 3 Series, and it turned out to be a hugely successful car. So that one I was very proud of. Another one was at Ford later, the 81 Escort, European Escort, which was completely different from the U.S. Escort. And that was named European Car of the Year and was wildly successful in Europe. It looked good, and it was great to drive. Moving on later at Chrysler, I can't overlook the Dodge Viper, which was not very important numerically, but in terms of changing people's minds about what Chrysler could do and what Chrysler was willing to do was great, because it was, in one fell swoop, the most expensive American car ever produced, the most powerful American car ever produced, and the fastest American car ever produced. So that one was great fun to do. More importantly, though, were the original LH cars, the first generation Dodge Intrepid, Chrysler Concorde, Eagle Vision, and the big Chrysler LHS. Enormously successful and great-looking cars, and definitely put Chrysler back on the map. Then, more recently at GM, I'm, of course, very proud of the current Chevrolet Malibu, which has, in its 4-year lifetime, this is almost impossible to believe, has moved past all of the Japanese brands and is now America's #1 selling midsize sedan. I'm also very proud of the Chevy Cruze, which is produced globally. It's probably one of the most highly produced cars in the world. We produce them in Russia, China, Korea, Australia, Latin America, and the United States. And that has become #1 selling compact car in the U.S. and also just a great vehicle. And then my big love, the Pontiac Solstice, which I personally own too, a Roadster and a Coupe. And of course, the Cadillac CTS-V and the Corvette ZR1, milestone automobiles. And then, surprisingly, my newfound love, perhaps the most significant car I've ever had anything to do with, the Chevrolet Volt, which is just a tremendously exciting car because it involves all new technology and was probably, all of the cars that I oversaw in my career were basically just a new blend of a formula that had been around for the last 50 to 75 years. But the Volt is new and entirely different. It's something that nobody's ever done before. So and I think it is, in many ways, the future of automotive transportation.